Welcome to all you amazing managers out there. Welcome to the future Gaffer channel, where I will be showing you my first FPL draft for this season. This will be my very first video on this channel, and I'm really happy to begin this journey with all of you. There's only 10 days left to the first game week of this season, with all the teams preparing and ready for the start. Are you ready for this season? So let's watch the video to see how my FPL first draft team looks, which players I will definitely maintain, and which players I may modify in the coming days leading up to Game Week 1. I'd love to hear from any of you watching if you plan to use the same team or how you're putting your team together in the comments area. So, let's get drafting, starting with the goalkeeper. Aaron Ramsdale, who is available for 5.0 million and had a great season for Arsenal last year, will start in goal for me. Last season, he started every game for them and had a tremendous number of saves. On their first 3 games, they face a respectable group of opponents in Forest, Palace and Fulham. Bernd Leno from Fulham, Onana from United and Pope from Newcastle are further excellent choices. I may want to choose a Brighton goalkeeper, but I'm not sure if Sanchez or Steele will be the team's starting goalie this year. So for the time being, I'll stay with Ramsdale. For the keeper position, I intend to keep the 2 keepers throughout the season and only transfer when necessary. Otherwise, I'll merely alternate between them for the entire campaign. In terms of defence, Cancelo has returned from Bayern and it appears that things are back to normal between him and Pep. He was in the majority of the FPL teams last season and we all recall how crazy he was on offence. I'm not sure whether Pep will start him, but given that there isn't a proper left back for a back 4, he may start. Whether Pep opts for a 3-man defence though, I don't see him starting. I'll be monitoring City's updates and, if required, I might replace him with Stones, Chilwell or Shaw. Now how do we forget this bad boy out? Estepinian was excellent last season when he joined Brighton, and I just think he's going to be performing and improving a lot this season. For me, he was probably the best left-back in the Premier League last season. So he is definitely a player that I will be starting Game Week 1 with, especially given Brighton's opening 3 matches. Next in my defence is Gabriel. In fact, Ramsdale and Gabriel will form a double Arsenal defence for me. Although I am aware that the majority of you would want to use Martinelli Saka or Odegaard Saka in a double Arsenal attack, I have my eye on a few other attacking players, and given the upcoming games, a double Arsenal attack or double defence sounds like a decent idea. Tell me what you're aiming for in the comments below. I'm going to use a 5 midfield arrangement in the midfield. Luis Diaz is first on my list. We all know how good he is on the offensive, even if he missed the majority of the previous season due to injury and only made a late comeback. I kind of don't want to go for a Chelsea or Liverpool player right now after looking at the fixtures, but I might think about bringing Diaz in. Trent is a player I want to take, but he is very expensive and I already have a 3-man defense I want to use. Unless Klopp chooses to put Jota or Nunez on the left, I'm very sure he'll start the majority of their games from this point forward. He did, however, make it into my initial draft, and if he starts, I have no doubt that he will add some points. Next is a Man United midfielder, Bruno Fernandes. He has been a favourite among FPL managers over the past 2 seasons, along with De Bruyne and Salah. Despite the fact that he had a performance drop in the middle of last season, he appears like a relatively solid pick for this one. You might be surprised to learn that he is the sole member of the United team on my squad. United still has to be more convincing, despite the fact that they look good this season. Rashford is another fantastic choice. Some of you might choose Bruno. Nevertheless, for the time being, I will only choose Bruno. Mitoma, a midfielder for Brighton, is the next. Brighton's round of games is the one I'm most interested in out of all the team's contests. Mitoma is a certain selection for my team because of how well he performed for Brighton last season. Like Estepinian and Ramsdale, he is a player I will undoubtedly keep through Game Week 1. Now for my next midfielder, I want to go for a Man City player. I'm not going to go with De Bruyne or Bernardo, but I'm going to take Phil Foden. Phil is an exceptional player, and with Mahrez having left City, he will be getting more time on the pitch this season, and we all know how good he is on the ball, whether creating a goal or scoring it himself. Similar to De Bruyne, but at a lower price. For my last midfielder, it's Martinelli. Yes, some of you are already raging right now for not picking Saka. But hear me out. I feel Martinelli is much bigger threat to opponents than Saka. Yes, Saka is an exceptional player, but for FPL, I would take my chances on Martinelli, and if I'm wrong somehow, I may switch him with Saka. Moving on to the striker position. Of course it will be Erling Haaland. This man is a machine and dominated in front of goal last season. Even you guys won't leave him behind, I guarantee it. He merely exudes a want for more goals this campaign, and I have no doubt that he will sate all of our FPL point desires as well. Evan Ferguson from Brighton will be my second striker, and he will round out the lineup. I'll say it again, the game against Brighton is what excites me the most. Other strikers include Callum Wilson, Harry Kane, Gabriel Jesus, and Mitrovic. While I know the majority of you would choose Jesus, I would stick with Ferguson for the time being, and let's see if anything changes my opinion. That was my first 11 team. And in my bench, I have Leno from Fulham. He and Ramsdale will be in my team for most of this season as their fixtures complement each other really well, and I'll just be switching them out for each other. In defence, I have Mbabu of Fulham and Tsimikas of Liverpool. And on the attack, John McCarthy of Luton. Now this is all about my first draft for this season's FPL. The squad value of this team is 96.5 million with 3.5 million left in the bank, so I could still bring in some better players if required. I'm going to keeping an eye on any updates if I need to make any changes. That's it for now, guys. Please share your thoughts on this team and your future plans for your team with me. Please like and subscribe if this video was helpful to you in team strategy. I'll be releasing more videos and it would be nice to have your support for this channel. See you in the next video.